really a terrific team. A team known for on defense of playing hard, playing together, and being physical. So we need to be on our game, and we're looking forward to the challenge. So we're in the game week, so I'm sure you all have questions. I'll try to answer it for you.
Coach, are you planning to kind of go without an announcement quarterback and wait till Friday to have that self reveal itself?
I think coach will handle all that. I mean, we've discussed all of this at great length behind the scenes, and we'll just let it reveal itself. And then if there are any announcements, that's certainly something that Coach Prime will handle.
Have you been happy with what you've seen out of both?
I have. I feel like they've developed quite a bit. I think they're really fine players to begin with, both at different stages of their career. But I'm happy with the way that they've developed as quarterbacks, but then also within our scheme. And so look forward to seeing how far we've come this Friday.
What are some of the strengths that come with the different stages that both guys are at?
Well, certainly Caden, the experience of having played in a bunch of games in the college level. You know, there's really no substitute, in my opinion, for good experience, right? I mean, you can copy people's knowledge, but you can't copy their wisdom. And I think as you get older and play more, you become wise in situations that you maybe haven't experienced. Juju's super talented. He's seen a lot, and he'll be able to roll with it. And hopefully, to this point, we've given him things to work with, and we've trained him on what to see. And really, when you play quarterback, it's much like being a fisherman. Right? You know what you're looking for, know when you see it, and then when it's time to cast or pull the trigger, you pull the trigger. And I think that's what you do when you train the quarterbacks.
Nikki, go ahead.
How have you seen the run game progress this fall camp, and what should fans expect on game day?
I think we've progressed as an offense. We want to try to be a dominant, winning offense, and that happens in a lot of different ways. Last year, for the first time in my career, we were in 10 personnel, flinging the ball all over the place, and that's one way to do it. And we did it for a certain reason because we were playing to the strength of our team. I feel like this year, I think it's natural to believe that we'll be more balanced. But I want to call plays for us, and I want us to execute plays that are going to gain yards. So whether we run the ball or throw the ball, we want to gain yards and ultimately get it across the goal line.
Tyler, go ahead.
Coach, you've obviously been around a lot of great NFL offensive linemen throughout your career. As Jordan gets ready for year two, how much has he progressed since you've gotten a chance to be around him, and what are you looking for him to continue his progression this year?
Well, great linemen embraced that word development that I talked about in my first presser here, which he's done. He did a lot of tremendous things. He was our best lineman a year ago as a true freshman, but he understands that development's important. He developed his body in the offseason, and then within our scheme and now working with 4 new players, he's developed that camaraderie that you need as a group. So, it's like any player. You come out here and you try to develop your individual skills as a player, but then the coordination of what it takes to work with the group, and I think he's done a really fine job.
Yeah, go ahead.
Coach, you touched on it a little bit earlier, but just from watching Georgia Tech, where do you feel like their strengths are, and where will they kind of challenge you guys the most?
Yeah, I think they're a very tough physical team, and I think that's where our game starts. I think they play very well together. There's some uncertainty as to what they're going to do schematically. They have a new defensive coordinator who comes in, very accomplished guy that's really been involved in a lot of different systems. So the key in the first game for us is to make sure we execute plays, go through our progressions, run the right tracks, block the right guys, and I think that's the same for anybody that plays the first game. We don't have, unlike the NFL, you don't have the benefit of 3 preseason games, because even though teams don't show what they're going to do, they sort of set the hook on what they're going to be so you can move forward. Plus, there's a history with coordinators in certain places. New coordinator in a new setting that's done multiple things. We got to expect we're going to see, even though we practice certain looks, we're going to see some unscouted things that we just got to follow our rules and make plays.
Bailey, go ahead.
General, no one gets to see our defense more than you get to see them. depth talent across the board. How impressed are you by us being able to play some complementary football this year with a strong defense?
Yeah, I think it's huge. I think obviously Rob directs it extremely well. The coaches coach their positions extremely well. There's synergy doing it for the second year. I can feel that on offense even. Really in my mind, this is my second year. There's synergy there in terms of the players that remain from a year ago, and then certainly the coaches and what you're saying. There's a memory bank of reps, and then you add the new players into the mix who are super talented, and they kind of fill in the gaps, replacing the old players. So, yeah, I anticipate they're going to be a very dominant defense in a lot of ways, like they were a year ago.
Leo, go ahead.
Hey coach, what's kind of your process when coming up with the opening script, and do you feel you have a few plays that are kind of in your mind going into this week one?
I don't really want to tell you. And yes, yeah. So that was a two-part question, right? So, yeah, I mean, I obviously don't want to reveal the openers.
What about like
Historically, there's a story, and I'll leave the coach's name private, but where he signed an autograph on the back of the openers one time and gave it to a fan, which isn't really a good thing. You certainly want to keep your opening thoughts private, at least, it's just so but you use those opening thoughts for a lot of reasons. Number one, you want to make yards, and, you want to get a fast start, and you want to do all those things, but you also want to see by formation or movement or personnel grouping what you can expect to see from the defense so that you can adjust and then move on to the next play and whatever might be complementary. I mean, that's Glazier Clinic talk, but we basically are going to try to pick the plays early on that we feel like our guys can execute well, because there is some uncertainty as to what we're going to see.
Brian, go ahead.
Coach, I want to ask about Caden again. Aside from what he can do on the field, what have you learned about him as a player, as a person, that you really enjoyed?
I think on our short journey here, you never really know. I mean, we grabbed him obviously as a transfer, and you get to know him quickly in the recruiting process. And I anticipated what I was going to see, but he's a tough, gritty guy. And then you get to work with him. He studies it very hard. He has a pretty good view of the big picture. That 3 and 4 dimensional thing that you need as a quarterback. And he's obviously a tremendous athlete that, if the situation presents itself, can do some good things with his legs. So I'm looking forward to putting him out there, see what he can do. But I'm really, I've grown to, I guess you could say it. I've kind of grown to love the player during this process. Now we're going to take him, or I'm going to try to help guide him through this next phase, which is playing games for us.
You sort of seen him grow, like as he learns this team has been in a new environment.
Yeah, I think so. But it's easier to say with somebody that you've been around. I mean, he's an older player, but yeah, I mean, within what we're trying to do and who he is as a person and all the time we spend together, certainly I've gained a love and appreciation for him.
Hey coach, in your mind, how different schematically does this offense have to look like? All the different personnel and kind of the key positions from last year to this year.
We talk about that, and I know that there's a certain amount of coverage on the predicting what it's going to be, but it really goes back to trying to utilize the strengths of the players that we presented with. And hopefully, and I know cuts come out tomorrow, but hopefully, I mean, we got a lot of receivers that are trying to make NFL rosters, and Shador and Charlie, all these guys are trying to make NFL rosters. This year it's a little bit different, so we might have to take this journey a little differently. But that's what we do as coaches: try to use the players that are available. And, so I don't know. Maybe we'll circle back on that in about a month.
Similar question to that, Coach. I want to talk about the excitement part of it for you as a coach. You mentioned earlier doing a lot out of 10 personnel because that's where our talents lie, unique talents. That unique talent is departed, but now we have more depth and diverse talents. How excited are you as a coach that now the kitchen cabinet is wide open and you can go many places with the ball?
Oh, I don't know if any cabinets in the kitchen are wide open. I mean, we still have to, utilize the players that are available. Still makes sense to be in 10 personnel. Still makes sense to be in 11, and then whatever grouping we choose to be in. That's just utilizing, we didn't want to use 6 linemen last year. We struggled to find 5.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's all that plays into it, and that's what your training involves, is getting them ready to execute those plays in the game.
Chris, go ahead.
How different did today's practice feel now that it is game week than maybe the rest of training camp leading up to it? What's the excitement level just around the program?
I think our practices are, they're a little more focused with, running cards against Georgia Tech. There's a less competition, what I would say buffs on buffs, which you do a bunch of early in camp. And so, start to prepare the specific plays. You may have 5 or 6 ways to run mirrored curl flats, right? But now as you get into the game prep, you take it down to 2, maybe 3, and so the detail of that is good. For those of us that have been in this profession a long time, we train all year for these few weekends, right? And this is the first, week of hopefully a long journey. And so we point everything toward the preparation for the game. And so that's fun as well, because we're getting to do the things that we all like to do.
Last one, Jake.
Coaches, what have you seen from Zarian and Cooper in that battle at center? And then, has there been any separation in that battle going into this game?
We feel like there has been, and that'll reveal itself on game day. But we like both players a great deal. Unfortunately, only one of them can start. But whatever happens, it takes a village up there. And there's going to be a scenario this year where we're going to need more than one. So that's where that guy that's not starting has to be ready to roll, and then also be ready to play another position. I'm from the world where you dress 7 or 8 linemen. So you got your front 5, and then you got a backup at center/guard, and then you got a backup at tackle/guard. And so that's a process they have to learn also if they're going to move on in their career. Because if you're not the starter, then you got to be somewhat multiple, so that if we get dinged at a certain position, you can go in and play.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Rob Livingston up next.
Hello. Hello. What's up, Coach? Hey, what's up, guys? How's everybody doing? Go ahead. Nick, you want to start?
Hi, Coach.
How are you?
What is your early assessment of Georgia Tech, and how's your defense preparing for that offense?
Yeah, it's a phenomenal challenge. First games, you feel like you've been getting ready for the last 6 months, so you've almost watched too much. They're a physical group. Obviously, it starts with the head coach, his mindset. The offense coordinator's done a phenomenal job. They're as unique as anybody in the country. If you want proof of that, just watch the Georgia game. So it's a phenomenal challenge. I'm sure they'll be fired up to play, and so will we. So it'll be a great test. Go ahead.
Hey, Coach, you've always talked about building your scheme around your players.
Yep.
Do you have a good idea of which players you feel are going to help kind of carry the scheme, whether that's on the field or leadership positions?
Yeah, we've had a great camp. Prime is structured in a way that, leaders have kind of stepped up to the front. And, we've seen guys play a lot. He talks about it all the time. It's a little bit different in there. That light's a little bit brighter. So I'm sure there's some guys that we didn't see coming that'll play great. Some guys that we thought would play great won't. So it's our job to adapt and adjust on game day as a coaching staff and put the best 11 out there. So I do think we're very deep. We got guys that are chomping at the bit to get in there. When their number's called, I'm excited to see them play.
Coach, you led the Big 12 in sacks last year. What is that edge group that you have this year?
Yeah, I think the sky's the limit. We talk about that's our new standard. The guys that paved the way for that, the BJ Greens of the world, and they did a great job. And so they've seen what it looks like and what it's like to be disruptive, I should say. So I think we're really deep there. I think we got 5-6 guys that can play for us, and we'll cycle them through. I think hopefully our fastball this year is our depth. So guys are playing 30, 35 plays and not 60 or 65 when it comes to the fourth quarter and we need to stop. So excited to see that group. They've done a great job. Coach Elo is as good as it gets in the country. I want that guy in my foxhole with me, and I know they'll be coached that way. Really good.
Coach, you talked about getting ready for an opponent. With so much activity in the transfer portal, institution, what's the challenges to really get ready for a team when their roster is about 50 to 60% difference year to year based on the film you have?
Yeah, I think it's our job as coaches. We talked about it, to adapt and adjust. Right, we put the best 11 out there. prepare for whatever we think's coming. And I hate to break it to you, but this big game plan we got, it ain't gonna be what they do. We don't got a contract with them. I wish we did. We make some concessions on both sides. But it's your job as a coach to be a problem solver on game day. The week is development both mentally and physically, and okay, this is what's coming. And you got to have a plan B and a plan C and a plan D. I mean, it's what it is. Right, wrong, or indifferent. This is college football 2025, right? So you got to play with the guys you got. That'll look different each semester. It is what it is. Coach has been hitting the portal a lot longer than players. So I have a hard time when coaches complain about the portal when you see guys in different polos every year, right? Just Google search some of them, and it's like, oh, where is he now? So I'm all for the players getting whatever they can get, and we'll put a great product out there on game day. So,
Hey, Coach, you guys faced a good amount of dual threat quarterbacks last year.
Yeah.
Talking about Georgia Tech's Haynes team. Does he remind you of anybody you faced either last year, maybe in the past? And if not, what kind of makes his kind of style or game play kind of unique?
Yeah, I hate to let the coach speak. I don't like to compare, just because I don't want to get myself in trouble. For sure. I will say he is an elite competitor. Like, you feel him on every play. And I think offensively, they go as he goes, right? We say he's the straw that stirs the drink. I mean, the kid will make a 35-yard out route, and the next play he's running counter OT through the A gap, right? I mean, he's what college football is about, right? If you look at his career and what he's done and when he's gotten his opportunities, he's made the most of them. So he's a heck of a player. I'll shake his hand after the game. I got a son that hopefully will be what he is down the road. So excited to see that.
Good. Coach, you mentioned guys jump at the bit. You
Yeah.
have a lot of players on this team that maybe been waiting for their turn or they came from a different place.
Yeah.
They're trying to prove themselves. Are you kind of seeing that hunger through camp that they're ready to go out and prove themselves stuffs?
Yeah, and they're just ready to hit somebody else. And it feels like we've been in camp for 6 months. I think we did our first one of these, it felt like a year ago, down there on the bottom. So, camp is a grind, and it's designed to be that way. We're hard on you physically, we're hard on you mentally. So once game week comes, we should be ready to go. So, yeah, I mean, we got a bunch of players that came here to bet on themselves, whether it's for their last year in college or transferring in or high school kids. And you'll see, freshmen, you'll see seniors that have been here, that have been part of the program. You'll see guys that have been here 2 weeks. I mean, it's just what it is. And that's the fun part, is putting all the pieces together and making the best out of them we can.
Tyler, go ahead. Coach, you mentioned the depth you have up front on the line. At linebacker, it seems like there's a couple guys you could go with as well. What's the plan for that? Do you want a solid duo, or do you want to kind of let it play out over the first couple weeks as you still kind of let these guys get some game experience?
Yeah, I mean, you always go with a hot hand. We'll obviously have 2 starters that can go out there. And then after that, I feel good about really 4, 5, 6 of them, right? It is what it is. Part of that is game plan. Part of that is, okay, hey, we're in this package. We got to stop these plays. And then part of that is, okay, hey, the dude's balling, right? So let's keep him out there. So there's a fine line. Obviously, you have a plan and kind of a pitch count going in. But let's not get in the way either if we got a good thing going. So I'm excited to see that group. They've done a great job. Obviously, they come in all shapes and sizes there. All kind of, some have been here. I mean, JB's been here the whole time since Prime got here. Other guys transferred in. So excited to see it. They put a lot of hard work, so they deserve the fruits of their labor.
Maybe go ahead.
Coach, a couple of times throughout this fall camp, coaches challenged you to kind of shake up the safety room or the secondary, just to develop some leadership there. How have you guys responded to that?
Yeah, I mean, I think competition brings out the best in everybody, coaches, players, everything. So it's been a constant movement there. Carter Stoutmeier's done a great job. Ben Finis's done a good job. Taufik Byer's done a good job. Mr. Love's come in, obviously transferred, done a good job. Slaughter's done a good job. So I think if I list them all, then hopefully we'll keep them guessing. But I really do feel good about that room. I see the game from that room. I'm the hardest on that room because, again, that's candidly why I'm sitting here. So it's been fun to kind of, have those late night camp meetings and, what are you seeing? And that's what camp's about, right? It's one thing to just call a play because it's in your playbook. It's another thing to call a play because the strong safety will see it this way or he doesn't like that. And while we're not as much as like the quarterbacks doesn't like plays, so we don't run it, we try to do the best to make our guys successful.
Exactly.
How important will your defensive ends and linebackers be in containing a dual threat quarterback and a solid running back too?
It'll take everybody. We talk about all the time, the reason that we love defense is it takes all 11 guys. You can have 10 guys do their job. Somebody messes up and it's going 70 yards and I'm getting booed out of the stadium, right? So it takes all 11. I'm excited to see that. Each play will be a little bit different, who has maybe the pressure point, and just do enough to try to keep them guessing. But yeah, they put in the work. I mean, the football guys should bless them. I can't say enough about this staff. We've got a bunch of great men that come to work every day, and it's not about them, it's about the players. So I think we're all ready for the first game. Chris Good.
You talked about the excitement of hitting somebody else. And
Yeah.
Camp can be monotonous and a drain. So how different are things feeling now that it's game week and the season's actually getting ready to get started?
Yeah, it's around the corner. It's what you've been working for 5 months. So you feel a couple ways, right? Like the game plan's been in for a while. So there's part of you wants to go back and tear it apart, make sure you're doing the best thing. The other part is saying, okay, hey, like we got a lot of time on this thing, so let's go. But it's a special time. I mean, it's to do the Stampede the night before the game, to do the Buff Walk, to have everybody back. It's kind of like the first day of the year, right? And I feel confident in the work we put in this camp that we'll be ready to go.
If you go ahead.
We talked with Coach Mathis last week. He said that Tion Parks and RJ Johnson are battling for cornerback too.
Yeah.
What have you been seeing from them, and what kind of rotation are we seeing from the quarterbacks?
Well, I'd stay out of the rotation. I trust Coach Mathis immensely, so he'll do his best there. It's been a competition, like you said. I mean, one guy has a good day, the next guy comes back. That's really what you want. I think when you have 11 true starters and everybody can kind of rest on their laurels, although it's hard here with the head coach we have, then you're not getting the best. So when you're pushed every day to be your best, then you should get the best outcome. So we'll go with the hot hand. Whoever's playing well, it'll look a little different. We'll do some things different and move some people around. So I'm just excited to see those kids play.
Right. Good.
Hey, Coach, you mentioned your family in the past, and I know the season's a grind
It
as
is.
a coach, but does your family get excited for like opening day and like for the season to get started?
They do. They you can make me cry. I'm not that soft, I promise. I always cry after. I don't know what it is. Yeah, my wife's a rock star. She makes it all go. Kids are in school. Kids are fired up. God knows I spent more money in that pro shop than I probably should. So they'll be decked out head to toe and going for the Buffaloes.
Tyler, last one.
Coach, I want to ask about Preston Hodge.
Yeah.
Because you've been around now for a second year. It seems like he's just a different guy with how vocal he is this camp. How much have you seen him grow over the past year, and how excited are you for this kind of unexpected maybe extra year of eligibility he's got?
Yeah, it's great. Preston and I had some real conversations around the draft last year, and he's a great kid. He's what college football's about. We got lucky. He got another year, and he's made the most of it. If you look at his body, the way he's transformed his body, who he is in the meeting rooms, how he is as a leader, he'll tell you. A year ago, he was just trying to make it. You're a new guy in a new school, new environment. Obviously, the lights here are a little bit brighter than where he came from. And I just see him more comfortable in his own skin. And we'll go as he goes. He's a huge part of this, and I'm excited to see his last ride.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. That's it for today, y'all.
It's the morning. It's the morning. It's the morning run. Philip Dukes, Big Dog Chico, Uncle Neely on location in Boulder, Colorado at Folsom Field, University of Colorado. And it's game week, baby. I said it, I guess, prematurely last week, but now it's officially game week. Shouts out to my people checking in. Oh, now, Unc, what up, Dukes? Talk to
Yo. What's up, Chico?
live, man. We live right now. Hey, we good, man. How you doing out there in ATL?
I'm good, man. Blessed to be here. God is good.
That's right. We on this side. Hey, we got over 600 people watching, only 150 likes. As Carlton Miller said in the chat, please support the daily content to help elevate TMR. Hit the like button, hit the thumbs up, share, comment, and everything else. Appreciate y'all being engaged in the chat right now. We just had Coach Pat Shermer and defensive coordinator Rob Livingston on with the press at campus. Talk to me, Unc. What'd you think about that?
First thing I think is, damn, this hat look good. I don't know why y'all are in Shopify right now. Like,
You ain't lying.
like I always say, Dukes, Chico, you can't have this one, but you can have one just like it. Go to
Right.
unclechico.myshopify.com. But Chico, today, practice one of game week. It's officially game week. Georgia Tech comes down on Friday night. I thought the intensity and focus, you could tell it is ramping up. You could tell guys are excited about finally getting to hit somebody else. You can even hear from the two coordinators, that this is fall camp is designed to be a drag and designed to get the most out of you. It's designed to make you want it to be over.
and it's finally over. And now we're at the game week. So I think you can look for new emerging names to be household names out of this defense, new emerging names to be household names out of this offense. Those unique unicorns that you had before are gone. They're gone to the next level. But I think people are going to be surprised at the playmakers on this defense and the playmakers on this offense.
Most definitely. Anything stood out to you, Dukes, about what Coach Livingston or Coach Sherman said?
No, it's just I think Coach Sherman, like a true offensive coordinator, he wasn't trying to give up any hints on about what he's got going out. And usually most coaches have their first 15 are opening script, no matter what. And Chico, that usually like no matter what, your first 10 to 15 plays are going to go according to schedule. And I think, but to piggyback on top of that, Coach Livingston let it be known that, hey, it's our job to figure out after that. We don't have a contract with anybody. So it's our job to adjust after you figure out what's going on. So I just think that to hear, I guess, the flexibility of how Coach Livingston is thinking and the nature of the competition that Coach Shermer has, it was kind of refreshing to hear two guys be really candid about what they're doing, even though they're in elevated roles.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would say a couple of things from Coach Shermer, just speaking about the offensive line and how he would, normally carry 7, with one guy being, or with those backup guys being versatile, playing multiple positions, a center guard combo, a tackle combo that can play both sides, or multiple positions. So those guys have to have the mindset for that. If they're not going to be in that starting 5, and he carried limited offensive linemen, you're going to have to be in the mode of, I could play multiple positions. I'm ready to go in and be plug and play wherever that is. And that's the type of guys I think he brought in, guys with experience who has played multiple positions like Zy Chrysler and Xavier Hill, and have been successful doing that. So I don't think the offensive line would be as much of a problem like it was last year because of the depth and the versatility that you have on the offensive line and the way that Coach Sherman is going to utilize those guys.
You left out one key word there, Chico, and please don't ball your fists up. You didn't say nothing wrong. Talent. We had 8, 7, 8, 9, 10 guys last year. But look what also Coach Shermer said. Your best guy on the offensive line last year was a true freshman.
Right.
Where else in the country would that even be the case?
Right.
And I don't, this is not a knock on George Seaton, the absolute dog. But how does somebody come in as a true freshman in a group of, say, a room of 15 people, and they the best one from day one as a freshman? That in and of itself lets you know how problematic as a group the offensive line was. Well, now this year, you have elevated the talent, the size, and what you mentioned, the diversity of skill set is playing multiple positions. And when you hear Coach Shermer talk, he's talking from that NFL background. He's saying, this is how we did it with the New York Giants and Denver Broncos. You bring your 8 with you. And those 8, that's how they get to the next level. We talk about it all the time on this show. The more jobs you can do, the more likely you are to be successful at the next level. You can't do but one thing. You better be damn good at that one thing. You got to be great at it. So these guys are, getting trained for that, getting thrown in the fire to be molded from that. But more importantly than what they do next year, 2 years from now, the next level is what are you going to do now against Georgia Tech? This fall camp has been designed to find out who they can trust individually and which group of individuals they can trust together on that offensive line. And I still say that from that initial 5 that goes out there first, those next 3 or 4 that comes in throughout the game are going to end up getting just as many snaps as the guys who went out first.
Mm-hmm. Defensive line, I think, will be just as versatile, and the guys who are not quote unquote starting will have to be ready to go in and possibly be plug and play at multiple positions. So,
absolutely,
more talented, as you said, a deeper defensive line to where you can use multiple guys. If you go deep down into that defensive line depth chart, those guys can be just as productive as the ones you have in the starting spot. So excited about those guys too, as Coach Rob Livingston was also. What you think, Dukes?
Yeah, you got to be excited about the defensive line. And you're talking about a line that's already coming in as the champion of the Big 12 when it comes to sacks. So being able to add to that, and adding to that, as well, being able to bring in guys and having such a deep group. I think really that's and when we talk about this matchup, that's the position group that I think that the gap is the widest between the two teams. I think Colorado's defensive line is that much better than Georgia Tech's defensive line as it stands. And if that shows up Friday, usually when we see defensive lines that are that much better than their opposition or their opposition, or competition, it's almost like when the Giants were able to go NASCAR. If you go back to the Super Bowls when the Patriots were a more talented team, but the Giants were able to harass Tom Brady in such a way that they were able to allow other people to make plays. And I think that's the same thing that you have this year with Colorado's defensive line for another year.
Putting pressure on that offensive line. That's what that NASCAR defense did. And you put pressure on the offensive line, confuse them, and make the quarterback do some uncharacteristic things, then now you have a ball game with a more talented team out there.
Yeah, it's a heavyweight boxing match. It ain't about the first round. It ain't about the second round. It's about what are we going to do in this deep water as this match goes on. And I'm going to tell you about our defensive line juxtaposed to their offensive line. I'm going to put our money on our size and talent and depth because their offensive line is not only younger than our D-line, they won't be able to interchange it as often as we can. And so if they come out there playing 5 or 6 guys on the offensive line, let's give them hell even 7. We're going to be playing 8 to 10 on the defensive line. So you're going to be getting hit with this fresh wave nonstop with no talent drop off like you had in years past here. So I love this defensive line, its ability to stop the run. It was built to stop the run. And that's rule 1. And stopping the run is what's going to lead to leading the Big 12 in sacks again, because you're going to put people in the position to say, damn, I got to throw the ball because I can't run on these guys. And Chico, you know, as an offensive guy, man, you come out there 1st and 10, right? And you're on offense. And the next play, you 2nd and 14 because there was a tackle for loss, because the defensive line was able to push the line of scrimmage 3 yards backward instead of having it come their way for 3 yards. You have just changed that whole series and how it's called. You know, we talked earlier about offensive guys having a script of what they want to call. But one thing about the script, and, you know, we all know Coach Sherman got one as well, the script is scripted out for success. It ain't scripted out for failures. Right. So anytime a guy has a 1st and 10 play and a 2nd and 4 play, but instead of 2nd and 4, he's 2nd and 14, he got to flip that Waffle House menu over. Mm-hmm. he got to have a discussion now. And so that's what's so important about stopping the run, being aggressive on 1st down. It's just taking any chance of momentum from that early series from them.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of stopping the run, what helps to stop the run, you know, indirectly is if you have a running game. And you see Coach Sherman say he's excited to see what Kaidon Salter can bring out there. And I'm excited to see especially how he can continue to move those chains, as we've said in the past. You know, he's been a dual threat quarterback, a little bit something different than what we've had in the past. With Shedeur back there, this guy here is a prolific runner, proven runner in the past. With him moving that chain, I've already said my hot take is that the Buffs will lead the conference in rushing because of his contribution to that. What are you excited about seeing with Kaidon Salter at the quarterback position this year? Both of you guys.
Just what you named, the diversity and what he brings. I love his legs and his running ability, but I'm telling the nation, go back and watch those Liberty highlights. He can throw the ball. He can throw the ball with accuracy, and there's not a position on the field he can't get the ball to. And so you can sit back there and call him a running quarterback and prepare for him to run, and then he's going to pick you apart. I think he has all the skill sets, you know, to lead this team. And I agree with you, Chico, that by the time you add in Michael Welch, add in Trackhawk's yards and the quarterback's yards, we should be leading, you know, because you got 3 guys on the field. Sometimes at the same time, they can run the ball. So I like the way we look offensively as far as diversity. I tried to get Coach Sherman to bite the hook on that, and he still wouldn't say we're going to use everything in the kitchen cabinet. You know, he's old school, so he's keeping it close to vest, talking about being only 10 and 11 personnel. And I understand week of the game, you keep some things, in-house. But I'm telling you that from our running back room to our tight end room to our receiver room, this ball can move in every quadrant of the field you want it to.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, Duke.
Yeah, I think I'm most excited to see K Salt on some design rollouts and keeping that quarterback tight end relationship on the rollout. I think those are plays that keep the chains moving. They're simple plays. They're easy, and those are what set you up for the big shot downfield when that safety has to cheat up, and he knows that, okay, now I have to make a decision because these guys are still in a relationship when they're rolling. So when that safety cheats down and you got Sincere or you got Omarion Miller or whoever, you pick a name basically as that perimeter receiver on that side. You roll to his side, and you got relationship between the quarterback and the tight end, and you have that perimeter receiver just running a fly or a bang gate. I'm excited to see what K-Salt does then when they have to make the adjustment because they've been banging. Well, they've been hitting that. I was gonna say banging them, but pause. They've been hitting that tight end drag or that tight end out along with K-Salt when he rolls out.
Mm-hmm. Man, let me tell you this.
Well,
as a big fan of the Dallas Cowboys and the playmaker Michael Irvin, when you can find a receiver that, for lack of a better word, don't give a damn, and a quarterback that got some zip on it, that damn bang eight is a mofo.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, indeed. That's what we saw with the Browns with Harold Fanning Jr. That's what he scored on in the Browns game. Shout out to him, and shout out to Michael Irvin too for making that famous. And I'm glad Duke's mentioned the tight ends in the passing game because that's showing
I bet you are.
Of course, because it's a little bit different too because with them being on the field this year, different personnel settings, and you still being able to pass the ball or play action, that's going to be huge because you have some big, what do you call it, high point guys on the outside with Sincere Brown, Marion Miller, JoJo Williams, and such. So with that threat, just like Duke just pointed out, you have the underneath guys in the flat or on a crosser, and then you have the big fellas going on the deep post on the go route. It's going to be dangerous this year, and I think K-Salt's accuracy is highly underrated. But we're going to see a heavy dose of that this year.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I think when you flip that equation over, I'm sorry, the super chat.
Yeah, that was super chat. My bad.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead.
All right. Shout out to Big Mike with the $5 super chat. He said, "I'm excited to see what this defense will do if they hold GTD offense. I believe our offense has the ability to put up winning numbers." Shout out to Big Mike.
Well, that ties in directly with what I was going to say, Dukes. And I know when we get later in the week, we're going to really go into, some numbers and some strategy and that kind of thing, what's taking place. But when you look at, their quarterback and what he has the ability to do, our defense, our defense practices against a similar quarterback every day. K-Salt will use his legs and can use his arms. And I think what you want to do with Georgia Tech's quarterback is you want to keep him in that pocket. And so that's going to take a more disciplined rush because you don't want them to bait you in and then he spins out of it. Next thing you know, he's gone down the sideline. He has that ability as well. We got to be prepared for those inviting the blitz and then throwing a little screen right over top to it to the back. That kind of thing is like right in their wheelhouse of what they want to do to it. So I think for us, and the guy with the super chat, our defense, our talent, our depth is one thing, but it's going to be predicated upon eye discipline, gap assignment, and just doing your job. Like not trying to force or make the big play, just let the big play happen. Because if we stay where we're supposed to be, they're not going to be able to torch us over the top because we got too aggressive.
I think so. Dukes, what you hearing about Georgia Tech down there in Georgia, man? What are they coming with? What should the Buffs be expecting?
A heavy dose of the run game. And much like last year, they're going to try to punish you with the run game and then hit you over the top with one of those explosive receivers. So Eric Rivers is a guy, the transfer in. He's replacing Eric Singleton, who was the number one transfer portal receiver. He was number one receiver in the portal last year, who ended up at Auburn, who was a 4.2 40 guy. Well, Eric Rivers ain't far behind that. So I think it's going to be really interesting to see what happens when Colorado puts their foot down and says you won't run the ball. And we feel like we have one of the best corners in the nation. Now beat him. because I think Colorado is going to have every incentive to bring an extra man down in the box or use one of those physical safeties to come up in the run game. So they and say, okay, you know what, DJ McKinney, go earn your money, go earn your status, go earn your ranking. And I think that's where I think you can see Colorado really have some success, is that in a primetime matchup between McKinney and Eric Rivers. So that's what I'm looking forward to, is that seeing Colorado put their foot down and saying, hey, you know what, we don't think that you can run against 7 and you damn sure can't run against 8, and making them make a decision.
Well, he go a secret, Chico. He go breaking news, Deuce. That ain't breaking news. DJ McKinney is going to be on their best guy. Like, period. And they're probably going to put their best corner. If you look at just the information you have, they're going to put their best corner on, say, Amari Miller, because you have to look at what you were able to scout. And there's so many new pieces to this puzzle that you really don't know what you got. And so they also look at Sincere Brown in there. But I like what you said about that safety coming down and stopping the run, because their running back, he wears number 1 for this year, but I think he was number 11 last year. He is the bell cow of their offense. They're going to give him the ball. He's going to also be on special teams, you know, whether it's returning punts or kickoff. Like, he's their thoroughbred guy. He's the one they're going to ride. And if our defensive line can contain him, corral him, bring that extra guy down with the safety, that's going to put, you know, our emerging and who we believe in is some of the greatest corners in this conference. Like you said, do your job. You got him one-on-one. Because we got to take their number 1 guy at the game, which means you got to be able to do your job by yourself.
Yeah. The running back Jamal Haynes rushed for 1,000 yards 2023, 944 yards in 2024, 9 touchdowns. So, yeah, like you said, that's a bell cow. They're going to give him the ball, and they have a big offensive line also. So our defensive line going to definitely have a test. Shout out to Coach Pecco, Coach Sapp, Coach Hilo, defensive coordinator, Coach Livingston, to come up with a plan to stop that run. And I think half that plan is mindset, dog. Have your damn mind right. Because if your mind not right, I don't give a damn what plan you come out there with.
You know, you're exactly right, Chico. It's mindset and technique. You'll see our guys doing a lot of drills where they are engaging with that lineman, and then they're peeking and looking and seeing which way the ball is going before they shed it, because you don't want to shed it early and the ball going the other way. Like, you want to look into your gap. You want to know where you're going. You want to know where the ball is in the backfield with the elusive running back. So they've been working on it. They've been practicing it. Eye discipline, like we said earlier, eye discipline is going to be so key in this, because they want, with their speed and their misdirection and stuff, they want you to guess and guess wrong. They want you to be looking over here. What do we always do, Duke? Like, they want to hit you with the hee.
Yeah, for sure.
Man, I think, and one other point I wanted to make about Jamal Haynes. So we talk about number 1. Their number 2 guy is the secret weapon. Now we're talking about Buzz in Atlanta. Number 2 is Trey Maddox. He was a 3-star guy, but huge. He had a really bad injury his senior year in high school that kind of affected his ranking. But this guy had 4- or 5-star potential. Had a ton of schools after him. 6'2", 225 to 230. He may be 230 right now. It looks incredible to be a 19-year-old. This is the guy that they're saying that once you start stopping Jamal Haynes, they want to run Trey Maddox. He's number 2. So that's just something to be looking out for. And I think that's the importance of having so many capable defensive linemen, because Georgia Tech is going to send you running backs in waves along with the quarterback. So as you're able to keep bodies fresh, not having 5 guys that you trust on the defensive line really plays in your favor when you have 10 you can trust.
Right.
And Dukes, what I was saying earlier, man, perfect segue and setup. Our defense is ready for that challenge, because that's the same challenge they face with Mike and Trackoff. And I'm not naming Dallin in that, because he's still dealing with the hand injury. But when you look at the diverse running styles that our defense practice against, and the way our defensive line coaches sub guys in and out for freshness and based on what back is back there, you know, this is one of those situations, Deuce, where you and I talk about offline. You know, that irresistible force would be that immovable object, which you don't see which one bends, and if one of them breaks, but some got to give.
Most definitely. That's a big boy you just named too, Trey Lane. Maddox, 6 foot, like you said, 6'1", 6'2", 220. That's a big boy to bring down. So like I said, all of that is mindset up here first to say we're not going to allow them to run the ball, and then make sure you lean on your technique and all of the things that your coaches have been teaching you, and showing you. But you got to have your mindset right. Don't come in there thinking it's going to be assault. You got to have a different type of mentality once game day hit. We saw during Prime Parents where K Salt's mom said, once he get the helmet on and go in between them lines, he's a different type of player. He's a different type of K Salt. So that's how the defensive line has to be. You have to turn it to somebody else and really play ball, man.
Absolutely.
Looking at these guys right here, you see them practicing. Shout out to Welloff. Shout out to Reach the People and the Pregame Network, of course.
Chico, let me ask you something. We talked about the other day. We talked about Auburn and how Auburn had kind of two mascots, right? The Tigers and they said War Eagle. If you had to give this team, the Colorado Buffaloes, a secondary mascot based on the characteristics that you saw in fall camp, what would be another mascot that you felt like you could give this team, or somebody that or a type or something that could represent this team in a correct way from what you saw in fall camp?
Two things came to mind. One was just a dog.
Yeah. Okay.
That's because Prime always say that. But then he always mentioned cheetahs too, because they don't stretch. And I'll say cheetah because of the endurance, the speed of this team. And I say endurance because of Coach Swayze, how he has them in shape. And so I'm going to go with that, man. Maybe let's go with a cheetah.
I like that.
All things.
Same question for you, what you think? If you had to give a secondary mascot for this Buffaloes team based on how they performed in fall camp.
So let me first acknowledge how beautiful for this team the buffalo is as a mascot, because the buffalo, according to zoologists, is the only animal that's known to walk into the storm. A lot of animals hunker down or go the opposite way, but the buffalo knows out there on the plains, if you face it and go through it, it's going to be over faster. So I like to do the buffalo. And then I'm going to go comic books. I'm going to go Ghost Rider, because you know what? In the presence of evil, the Ghost Rider transforms.
Okay.
And I go back to school days with Ossie Davis in Mission College. The devil is in the locker room.
I like that one, man.
Appreciate the fun facts about the Buffalo too, Unc. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I
learn something every day messing with Uncle Neely, guys.
For sure.
Yes,
I know a lot of shit that just ain't worth a lot of shit.
Yeah, I was about to say, you just don't know what it's going to be. You just got to keep your ears and eyes open and sift through the ish, like you just said.
Yeah, that's perfectly said, man. Chico, like we decided last night, your new name is Sugar Bear, so.
Oh, see, okay, so you pulling the...
I'm pulling the Chico. See how that feel when you steal a joke? See how that feels, Sugar Bear?
He just aggregated a joke from me, dude.
Something you do every Monday. Sugar Bear. I couldn't sleep laughing last night.
Oh man, I laughed at that too, dog. That was funny. If y'all missed that, you got to go back and watch the show last night. Oh man,
how they gonna do it, Chico? It's damn 2 hours.
Yeah, man. You got to sift through it. Hey man,
what y'all can't see. Let me see. It be people walking by, and when I do that, they get scared.
Like what's going on over there?
They jump.
He tripping, talking to him damn self. Maybe he's doing himself. Hey, how is the campus right now? What's the vibes on the campus right now, Uncle? With so many people being back.
Oh, man, great energy. Because you always have that freshman class that comes in first for orientation, and it's their first time being away from home, so they crunk. But now everybody's back because this is the first full week of class. So the campus is packed, the city is packed, lots of traffic around. So everybody's excited about this Friday night game. Because again, high school is before college, and when does high school play on Friday night? So it's just something special about Friday night lights. You got week 0 in college football behind you, but this is the true first week 1 of college football. And when you look at the lineups that's taken up Thursday, what we're playing, the slot we're playing in Friday night, leading into those bevy of ranked games Saturday. Man, it's a great weekend for college football. And you talk about a 6 p.m. Mountain Time kickoff, which is 8 p.m. Eastern. That's not an excuse in the world for you to be sleepy. Everybody's going to be tuned into this game because, again, man, what have you done for me lately, Chico? You remember by your last name, and we're still riding that high, not us, I'm talking about the nation, riding that high of what Georgia Tech did against Georgia last year, Dukes.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're still riding that low of what BYU did to us in the bowl game.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you look at people's most recent or last performances, that's why everybody is heavy on the Yellow Jackets. That's why they're heavy on Rambling Wreck, because they like, hey, this is the team that went to overtime with Georgia. And I'm like, Corso, not so fast, my friend. These ain't the same team. You got 50, 55% new rosters both sides of the ball. And so you can look at tendencies of coordinators and coaches, but when you look at individual talents and matchups, hey, like Coach Livingston said, we don't got a contract with these guys. At the end of the day, you really don't know what the hell they're going to call.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and also you got to remember, and not to take anything away from the Yellow Jackets, because I think they did a phenomenal job in that 8 overtime game. I think they just replayed it the other night. You can never count a team out in a rivalry game. I don't care who it is.
Yeah.
There's gonna be a lot of times where Georgia Tech won't be able to stay on the field with Georgia, but those times are getting less. They're becoming fewer and fewer, and I think that you can't really try to compare an apple to an orange. These are two different teams. When you look at Georgia Tech's offensive line, they may be starting 2 true freshmen. That's a lot to deal with when you've got a very veteran and talented defensive line for the Buffaloes. So I wouldn't be compare. I wouldn't compare those two teams. But if anybody wants to, you can hit me for my Cash App. We do same day betting. So just let me know.
Same day betting brought to you by some type of betting app that need to be inboxing us right now for some advertising.
The morning run. Damn Central hit me.
We have damn near 900 people watching in right now live. That's been in and out, over 2,000 views so far. So let's run them likes up. If you haven't hit the like button yet, what you waiting for? You tripping? That's like walking into somebody's house and not taking your shoes off or wiping your feet on the rug. Disrespectful. You can't do that, big dog.
Yeah, or grinding your feet in the couch like Rick James did to the Murphys.
Hey, couch.
Y'all rich. Y'all buy another one.
Yeah.
But I would say, if you're just tuning in with us, of course, this is the Morning Run Live, Monday through Friday, 5 days a week. This week is going to be special because Friday's show is actually a game day show. So when we're doing the morning run that morning, it's leading right into festivities around the stadium. So we'll be showing you all that biz as well. Tomorrow, Coach Prime's opening Caesar presser. So we'll do his press conference tomorrow, and then we'll regroup after that. I think we got Adam coming on Wednesday. So a lot of stuff happening this week, man. Stay tuned to the morning run, as Chico said. If you're in here watching, share, get the likes up. It's free to hit that like button, and we certainly appreciate it. The OC and DC spoke today. Thought they were as forthcoming as a coach can be, for it to be game week. You're not trying to, divulge too much and those kind of things. But the team is energetic. The team is ready to hit somebody else. It's going to be a great week, culminating Friday evening, 6 p.m. Mountain on ESPN. Georgia Tech is coming to town.
And I want to say this also. I saw someone, or I saw several people on Twitter quoting a random podcast from Cleveland, saying some of the things that we said on our show for weeks and weeks. I just want to know, like, are y'all listening? Are y'all either you know or you don't know, or you just don't care what's going on TMR? I think you need to, dog.
I like that Boys in the Hood reference. I caught that Boys in the Hood reference.
Yeah. You must be asleep or something, but
for
all of our runners out there, clip and tag us in something. You know what I'm saying? So we can share and like it and follow, and more people can see this other than just us. Don't keep it to yourself. Share that.
Man, Doughboy got up early that morning to read the paper. And he read the paper. It didn't have nothing about his brother. Right. So either they don't know, or they don't show, or they just don't care what goes on in the hood. And you can't get more hood than the morning run.
mean.
Dukes proved that
Line.
last week. Dukes proved that last week. Duke said, I
Hey,
don't
man.
like it, but I got to do it.
Yeah. Duke, y'all want to leave him with something before we get up out of here?
Man,
I'm yielding to the Reverend Dukes, man. Reverend Dukes got it.
Man, we go to church right quick, man. It's my Monday mood, man. I don't know if you follow me on Twitter, but this is a song that really touched my spirit and got my week going the right way.
What's that? Someone tried to get me, but I got away.
Devil tried to get me.
Dukes, let me tell you something about that and about your boy Chico late last night. A reverend, shout out to Reverend BJ Nelson, a reverend admonished, because preachers don't tell you to do something, they admonish. A reverend admonished Chico last night to hush. And Chico told that man, hush, somebody's calling my name.
Hush, somebody's calling my name. Hush, hush, somebody's calling my name. Oh my Lord, what shall
When he
I?
broke that window at that church, y'all, and the glass opened up, that's the song he heard coming out.
Man.
That was the one song I think I could hold a note in choir class. Remember I told you? When I got in choir, that was the one note I think I could
BJ
hold.
Nelson, man. And Reverend Nelson, so you'll know on the record, I have officially forwarded your email to Chico about your 20% code. The ball in his court. If he don't send it to you, remove him from your prayer list.
The code coming shortly. Give me about an hour. After this show.
He said it 2 weeks ago.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, boom! It's now time to land the plane.
Oh, speaking
Brought
of
to you
plane,
by-
I'll be
Okay,
catching
there
the
you
plane
go.
tonight. So you may see some content tomorrow with me and Uncle Neely. I will be in Boulder for sure.
Boulder, where's Boulder?
getting
Dukes is
busy.
arriving. No, we're
Yes,
not
indeed.
going to get busy, Chico.
Don't get busy. Get busy in Boulder. Right? All right. Until next time, y'all know what to do. Hit the like, subscribe, comment, all the other good stuff. Landing the plane brought to you by some type of airlines. Y'all hit us up if you want to sponsor this end of the show. All right. Thank y'all for coming out. God bless you. Good night. The morning run. Peace in the Middle East. Yeah, y'all. You be.